just say hello.
Welcome back to another episode of the Download Illuvium News. I really thought TSG was going to be back by now.
Shit.
Yes,
You're live.
back. We are live. How's it going, man? How's it going, everyone? Glad to have you here. If you guys want, we'll also play an episode. We'll play a game of Gauntlet at the end of this stream. I played like 5 games today. It's probably more than I've played all like for the past 2 months. Even Karen played a game today, which is insane. But we're loving to play Gauntlet today. Taryn's not drunk, I promise. Maybe a little bit. He's fine. No, but it's good. We got a lot to go over today. We haven't had an episode for 2 weeks. I do apologize for that. I have been moving house, so my PC wasn't quite set up. Even now, it's set up. The room's not done, but the studio lights aren't running. So you could see that the lighting on my face isn't quite right. That's because the studio lights are not yet set up. I need a power board from work, and I go back to work Monday. You get the point. We are back. We are setting it up. We're getting ready. Not only that, I can't really talk about it too much on stream until it's all settled and announcements made, which are coming soon. But the competitive scene for Illuvium is getting really interesting and really heating up. And there is a lot to be excited about regarding that. And you guys will find out all about it very, very soon. I'm really looking forward to it. And maybe it's one of the reasons I'm practicing the game as much as I am to try and improve, to try and get better. And the game runs smoother, less bugs, more quality of life than ever. And I'm finding queues pretty quickly. And once that competitive scene kicks off, I'm hoping I'll find queues even faster than that. How have you guys been going with your queues today? Please let me know down in the chat as well. Taryn, how's it going, man?
Yeah, fantastic, man. Looking forward to the conversation today. I know we've been out for a little bit. I think there's a decent amount to cover. I won't say it's a lot, but I'd say there's a decent amount with the town hall that happened. I'll hit it straight off the bat. I know we were chatting about it behind the scenes, but where's your mind at with bringing Stephen on for one of our discussions? Just so the audience knows.
Yeah. I mean, I said in another message. When he gets back to me, we'll have that chat, and I'll try and get him on for next episode. If not, it'll be the episode after. But as soon as possible, really, I'll get him on, and we'll have that chat.
Sick. And in chat, let us know the kind of questions you want us to ask him. I know when we're having a town hall with it, when there's a town hall with him, it's a little bit more curated. So whatever you guys kind of want to ask, throw it out here and we can kind of field those questions. And I'm sure Scoriox will put out a tweet at some point. Give us questions. So use that as an opportunity, really, because we wanted to really get the most out of Stephen as possible. Yeah,
the biggest question for me would be that how is this? So you've played World of Warcraft in the past, I'm sure.
I've never actually played WoW.
Okay, well, they have it. Which MMO have you played? You played Guild Wars 2?
Say that one more time.
Guild Wars 2?
Guild of Wars, no.
Have you played any MMO? What's a major MMO you've played?
The Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic online.
Okay. I don't know if they have it, but most MMOs have a specific class that's like a hunter, and basically you have like a pet, like a pet tiger or something. It changes throughout the game. Every single MMO has that class. What I'm most afraid of is Illuvium going to feel like just everyone's playing that same class because Illuvials are your pets in the game or whatever, and it's just everyone playing that archetype. Or how is it going to differentiate itself from other MMOs, MMO lights, etc., and really enhance the gameplay of the Illuvials themselves is the really big thing I'm looking to. The other one is actually loot drops and how they're going to function, because I think there's some really exciting ideas there where like you can unlock this specific, like in Borderlands, you have like a standard assault rifle thing, and it can have all these different modifiers, right? But how are they going to integrate with the Illuvials? It'd be cool if every single assault rifle has a version for every Illuvial. Like this assault rifle has a fiery gets plus 10% damage, or fire Illuvials get plus 10% damage. You can get to billions of combinations off the back of that alone. Yeah. And that would be really cool, because then you're like, okay, I want to find a Scoriox specific assault rifle or staff or sword or whatever it's going to be. And then that's really hard. You need to make them really scarce and really hard to find, so that there's reason to trade and upgrade and adjust them and things like that.
I wouldn't even say... sorry, I know the comment's going to eat me alive for cutting you off. It is what it is.
That's fine.
Sorry to cut you off. But it's not even to make it scarce. It's just to have so many options in terms of these, right? Like, and we have been, but for context for the chat, myself and Scoriox have been playing Borderlands behind the scenes. And so there are some weapons, like the light trap thing, the crazy pistol that we're playing with. That comes in every single affinity. And so having a weapon like that, and it's not hard to get, it's just that it has different affinities. So you have to run it again and again and again to get the affinity that you want. So it doesn't even have to be scarce. It just needs you. And once you add that and scale it up with all the different weapons, some weapons might have a times two modifier. They might shoot two. If you have a staff, maybe a staff that shoots two bolts instead of one. Like there are things like that that you could do, and so it doesn't always have to be affinity. It could be class. It could be times two, times four variants. There's all these variables that you can play with. That it doesn't need to be scarce. There just needs to be different options and how to get them. That makes the player want to grind again and again and again to get the thing that they want. And if they don't grind for what they want, someone else has grinded and they can buy it off the marketplace. But I think that's the whole thing.
What I would love to see is I never really delved deep into the Path of Exile 2 mechanics regarding their weapon system, but I would love to see. I've heard they're quite good, where basically you get like a weapon and you really love it, but it's like a low rarity. And so you have all these rare items you can get to upgrade the rarity. So it has all like the stat stuff you want, but you upgrade its rarity. I'd love to see transmutation ones. Like you have a sword with a really specific stat boost that you want on your staff, so you can destroy the sword and put those stats onto the staff. Or I'd like to see the Illuvials get incorporated as well. You can destroy like 5 Scoriox to enhance your staff in a certain way and give it these different stat boosts. I kind of like the idea of like the arena. The arena's focused on the Illuvials and maybe like augments and things, and then the MMO Light's focused on weapons and Illuvials, and everything has their own unique thing to their game and stuff like that. Anyways,
I agree with that real quick before we move on. I agree with that because based on one of the things that I've been harping on again and again and again is the actual gameplay economy. And we need a burn or a sink for alluvials. And something like that would make sense, right? Where a Scoriox would have one of 3 or 5 options of a bonus that it would give a weapon. You could burn 5 and have a 20% chance of 5 options. Like, and so that way you could burn it again and try again. But there's all these things that you could do.
Yeah, and I know that's from the town hall, and we'll talk about this at the end of the episode as well. We'll go deeper into the town hall, but from the town hall, it sounds like that exactly is what they're looking at. All the ways you can not necessarily burn alluvials every time, but all the ways you can use alluvials to adjust different stats, progression, and other sorts of things in the game. I think that's really good and really important. I'm looking forward to what they come up with.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. This is just the intro. Shit. Let's jump into it.
Let's go through all the stuff, and then we'll cover off the town hall topics you had at the very end.
Cool.
So first up, we've got a bunch of announcements. Again, we've been away a few weeks, so these have started to pile up. Firstly, the MMO devlog and town hall. Submit your questions. That's already happened, unfortunately, so that's not really helpful for you guys. But there is a town hall coming up with Kieran Warwick. Join us Friday, August 1. So it's in a few days, right? It's been a week. For a live town hall with Illuvium co-founder, diving into all things Illuvium, from developer progress, ecosystem updates to long-term plans, runway, and more. This is going to be really good. Saturday, 6 a.m. for me. Oh, my God. Everything's at 6 a.m. for me. I swear to God. Okay.
4 a.m. for me, bro. Rather you for me.
So you can submit questions there and stuff. We'll cover that in just a moment. The other one is that Arena Patch 1.11 just went live on mainnet. You can see it right here. Really, really good. It's got new features and improvements. Imprint tailoring. I've already felt the effect of this a lot in the game. It's really great. Makes it a whole lot more fun to play. But you really need to kind of abuse it a little bit. Like I had an opponent that got a behemoth imprint, right? And I'm like, how the hell did they get that? I don't think they had a behemoth. I think they bonded their ranger to get behemoth, even though they didn't get the synergy boost, because they probably knew the crate was coming up soon that was going to have imprints in it to hopefully get the behemoth imprint. And so it's a really smart way to play around this sort of stuff. I think it's really important. The weight system, pretty standard stuff. Guidance tooltips, I turn these off. They get really annoying really fast. For beginners, though, I'm sure it's great. And as they add more tooltips, I think it's going to be really good. The tooltips in Civ, although they get annoying after a little while, they've always been quite important. So I like this sort of stuff. Bonding, disclaimer, UI, absolutely awesome. Improved sell zone, massive. I have sold alluvials in weird spots all the time. Ranger gear reroll system, really cool as well, especially at the start. And I kind of like how you get the option to pivot later in the game, even though it's like kind of scary to do. Like you got the Tempest Lance, for example. You've already been building your strategy around it. So pivoting out of that is really hard, but sometimes you just have to because of the way the game's shaking out. So I like that it gives you the option, but it's really hard to execute unless you really know what you're doing. I think it's great. I don't know if you've pivoted. I pivoted out today. It didn't work out that great for me, but it was better than it would have been. Holo and Dark Holo visuals. If you own a Holo Alluvial or a Dark Holo Alluvial, they will get the visual in the game now. It's actually really funny when you own one or two because it's based on how many you have. So, for example, if you have two Atlases and you get two and they're both on your bench, they're both Holo. If you only have one Holo Atlas, one of them will be Holo and one of them won't be. It's really funny to look at.
I really sorry to pause on that. Let's double click on that. I love that. I know that Gauntlet is meant to be a free to play, accessible to all, and I agree with that. And actually, I double down on that. But the fact that yes, our core community that does have hollows, if we do start marketing and bringing new people in, they are going to start seeing these hollows and be like, "Yo, what? Why? Why is that different?" And I love it. It doesn't affect the gameplay. It doesn't affect anything. But it's just those small kind of things that it's like, oh, you were here early. You kind of know what what's going on. I love that that is being implemented. Like it's a small. I don't know from the dev side, from the outside looking in. It's a small implementation with big effects. Is what I think from a marketing outside perspective.
I have really mixed feelings. Okay.
Yeah, tell us, please.
The first one, which is a bit nitpicky, is the Dark Holo visuals in particular. They're really distracting. Like when Alluvial isn't recognizable off rip and it's like just like a black blob on the screen, like they look really cool. I think they're going to look really cool in the MMO light. But the Dark Holo visuals are a bit rough in the game and they kind of, they're just really distracting. Okay. But it's not a big deal. There aren't that many of them. It's fine. The only big concern I have is when a player sees that in the game, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what's that?" When they dig a little bit deeper, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this game has NFTs. I quit." Okay,
No way.
a lot of gamers really hate NFTs. Okay, I don't know if that's going to be the case. Like up until this point, they've been playing the game free to play, and you can explain to them all you want that the NFTs don't affect the game and don't make it pay to win and stuff like that. But the minute they see NFTs, because of a lot of the programming from Web 2 gamers and streamers and things like that, their first thought is going to be, "Oh, this is a scam game. I should uninstall it." And that really annoys me. And education is going to come a long way where there won't be a problem anymore. But at the moment, it does. It just makes me a bit nervous. And hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe a lot of them won't actually care. If they're enjoying the game, they're enjoying the game. I think that's a big part of it. But I do have a slight concern that when they dig deeper and they see that it's NFTs, that might actually scare them off rather than anything else. And so I hope I'm wrong. And honestly, I like seeing my holos on the thing. And like Crypto Quick Chat says, or Drax says, it makes me feel like a collectible. That's exactly the same with me. When I got a Scoriox the other day, when I got Scoriox on the board, I completely forgot my Scoriox was holo. Okay, I completely forgot he was. But he got on the board, he was holo. I'm like, it feels like a bunch of hard work I did in the overworld back in the day just paid off. And it felt pretty sick. And he was the carry of my team too, so you know, but it just felt good on that hand. And so I really like that. But I wouldn't mind, it kind of takes away from it a little bit, but I wouldn't mind the idea of a toggle in the settings to toggle on or off dark holos, etc. Even on an individual level for players if they don't want to see that, if it distracts it from the game and stuff like that. I wouldn't hate that idea. But then again, it would kind of ruin it for some people. So it's a little bit tricky like that.
Yeah, I'm down with that idea, actually, if there was toggle. And in terms of the sentiment, look, I just Gemini'd this shit real quick. I don't know how accurate it is. But the sentiment around NFTs in gaming in July 2025 is cautiously optimistic for utility-driven and well-developed projects, but still skeptical and negative towards speculative, poorly executed, or unsustainable blockchain games. There's a bunch more, but it seems like we're in that kind of. I think that the key word there is cautiously optimistic. So I think gamers are open to it, if the ecosystem is structured well. If it's clearly pay to win, if it's yada XYZ, I think that's when they're like, you know what, fuck this. So I
So,
think there's that fine balance, and I think we are actually playing that balance all right. But I do agree that there is still that prejudice and that recency bias of 2021 NFT hypermania that is still existent in these. Like I'd watched a recent thing with KSI. I don't know if anyone knows who KSI is, but he's one of the I mean, he is the UK's largest YouTuber, and they had asked him NFTs in or out, and he's like, "Nah, fuck that shit, man. They're out." And he was big in the crypto space, so it is one of those like it is still an uphill battle for sure. It is still an uphill battle.
if if I had to pinpoint it, I think the marketing's a really big component there, because if you're a smaller Web2 streamer, let's say 100 concurrents might be small, I would say, or mediums are small. If you had 100 concurrent and then you were playing this Illuvium game and showing your audience, are you telling your audience it has NFTs in it? I would
No,
argue for the most part, no. And then when your audience goes in and they discovers it's an NFT game, they're going to feel a little bit betrayed. They're like, why wasn't this influencer transparent with me? So I think if the influencer goes and straight up says, this is an NFT game I'm playing, you do not need to own NFTs in any way to play the game, then that sets the understanding straight away. But if someone comes in and then later finds out they're NFTs, they're going to assume you need them to play the game. And that's when it's going to start to like just bail, uninstall, whatever else. That's a really big component for me. And I think that comes down to Illuvium. I think Illuvium, when they make that contract with someone and say, please promote our great game, but you have to tell them it's an NFT game straight away.
yeah,
I think that's how I would personally approach it, because I think people get more pissed when they feel that they've been blindsided.
and
But
obviously,
it might be
oh, sorry.
stronger marketing. It might be stronger marketing to not tell them it's an NFT game. So you got to decide the path you want to take.
Not really. Like again, trust is more valuable than just views. And what I was doing back in the day was, I say back in the day like it was fucking a decade ago. But when I was on the team in the role, the exact role that you're speaking of, the conversations that I would have, I'd kind of pitch them the whole game, and at the very end, it'd be like, "Oh, by the way, there are NFTs, but it's not actually relevant at all to Gauntlet. Like it's irrelevant, and they are there, but not impactful to the gameplay at all.
Mm.
Uh, not in a competitive manner. And so I would let the influencers know. I would never tell the influencers, "Hey, let your audience know that there are NFTs, but it's not important." So the influencer did know, and they were well equipped with the information of how the NFTs interacted in the ecosystem. So I left it up to them. So I had educated them on it, but it was up to them to say, "Hey, this is what it is," or "This is." They just left it out. Um, that's kind of how I played it, where I was like, "I'm going to educate you on it and tell you the absolute truth, which is it doesn't actually affect the gameplay, and it's up to you if you want to put that up.
Mm.
I didn't push you either way if you wanted to or not." And that tended to work well for me, I think. But happy in chat if you disagree and think that I was wrong. Fucking tell me that I'm an idiot. Many people do.
But yeah, as far as Web3 communities go, they're absolutely going to love the holos in the game. Okay, so the other thing is the drone transparency when you hover over. I did this today. It's actually pretty sweet, pretty useful. Main menu overhaul. It actually looks even better than I expected. It's a lot of fun. It's way easier to use from a UI UX perspective. It puts you straight into ranked 2 as your default thing. It makes it really easy for you to just be like, okay, this is the game mode everyone's playing. I'm going to click this. Really, really good.
Whoa, real quick. I know we had a little bit of a chat, and I want to kind of double click on that shit. With the background, what's your honest opinion on the back? Like, I think once you get into, so go into this thing, scroll up a bit, the top one. Right, that one. I think when you click into Arena or Overworld, nice. The background's cool. Arena, there are some things. But what are your thoughts? I think that I'll say my opinion. And to be very, very clear, this is not a criticism. This is just an opinion of a user's opinion. I think that when we click into it, like the lines are just too in your face, and it's interesting, right? Like, because the the ranger and the drone are meant to be the subject. They're meant to be the main focus. Is what I would assume so, because they're in the middle and they're the largest. But the background is done with the little glitchy effect, and it takes away from that a little bit, and it feels a little bit jarring. Like, it just, in my opinion, I don't know if you agree or disagree. I'm just sharing my opinion.
I didn't really notice it the same way.
Okay, for me, it felt a little bit jarring, but I mean, look, if everyone else agrees, maybe it's just a me problem, right? But I just wanted to be up front and say, hey, I think critical observations are more valuable than dick sucking. I'll say it.
I will say that at no point does it heavily indicate that it's an auto battler game. It says auto battler here down underneath arena in like really small text and stuff. But it doesn't really give you that impression otherwise. If you look at this screen, there's actually nothing saying auto battler anywhere. It says gauntlet. It has 8 players. It actually makes you think it's like a free-for-all shooter.
Interesting.
Like, really look at it. What is it? It tells you it's a free-for-all shooter. I don't think it's really going to be a problem, but it would be more interesting to see a menu for the arena side of things that more exemplified auto battler in some way. I think that'd be pretty cool, even if it's a background or a little video or something. I don't know, but
Interesting take. Interesting take.
All right. After that, drone augments repositioned on the down in the bottom left there. I think it's good. I think it works well. I actually really like what the crates are. I don't think everyone agrees, but I actually really like them.
Bro, the game that we played, I fucked up. I didn't use my crate. I don't know what the fuck to do with it. That's why I lost.
You just drag it off the board or whatever, same as before.
I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah, I usually just left click them because that just does it. Crate inventory upgrade, they're on the left there, so don't miss that next time. All damage numbers, including critical strikes. New feature, enhanced visual effects, making combat feedback more readable and satisfying at a glance. It's actually really noticeable now in the game. It's actually one of my favorite improvements they did. I absolutely love it. Additional polish, spectator mode fixes, and some balance changes. Scoriox got buffed. I've been feeling that a lot. Poodle Moth also got buffed. Links, Empath Links, and a bunch of nerfs to some Nature Alluvial, Star-Nosed Mole, which is still OP, I'm pretty sure. And the Red Panda, which is still really popular. So, yeah. Okay. The next one, there was also a Gauntlet monthly reset. Everyone's ranks got reset. I'm like ranked 50 now because I've been doing pretty well today. So that's been fun. After that, we've got 1 week until the ILV Summer exclusive disc sale, the hottest drop of the season. And it's all thanks to you, the community. You voted for the summer theme, and we delivered vibrant, exclusive Illuvitar summer style cosmetics, new stretch goal rewards, and upgraded features to supercharge your collecting experience. I have no dry powder for this. I'm not going to lie with you guys. I have absolutely nothing. If I find some money, I'll probably spend it on this. I'm looking forward to buying a little bit, maybe. But I haven't actually read this blog yet. So let's have a really quick look at the everything you need to know for the ILV summer sale. So starts July 31, ends August 14. Costs 1,500 fuel per disc. That's $15. Way cheaper than past promo sales. So worth noting that. Okay. Absolutely love this. Looks like a beach ball. I think that's really fun. So what's packed inside each disc? They actually changed the formula a little bit. So each disc bursts with a summer exclusive goodie designed to make your collection pop. 1 summer Illuvitar, 1 normal wave 4 Illuvitar, 1 tier 0, and 3 accessories. So you get an additional Illuvitar, but it's a lot closer to a standard disc than a mega disc, which is really interesting because standard disc is $5. So you're basically paying $10 for the summer Illuvitar. These summer Illuvitars are ultra exclusive. It can only be sleeved within the summer collection. Snag as many as you can. Weights for the summer Illuvitars have been tweaked to make opening multiple discs a refreshing and fun experience. Many variations.
How much are they?
$15 each.
They're fuel wise.
1,500 fuel.
Yeah, calm, chilling.
Epic stretch goal rewards. You get a border at 3 discs. This is good. I want more borders for more things. They're actually like really fun now in the ranked system. Relaxed beach flood is awesome. A beach ball drone blast. Okay, I have to get that. The beach ball drone skin. I have to get that as well. A phosphorus emote. I really want that. Oh my god, Taran, what is going on?
I personally was stuck with the the drone skin. That's just me. I'm just saying that's just me.
The drone skin is great. Imagine stacking 35 plus points across multiple cycles as borders, emotes, and skins galore, all exclusive to the sale. All right. Fresh features to elevate your collecting game. We're revolutionizing your collector experience with game-changing updates that make Beyond smoother, flashier, and more addictive. Did you get that, Taran? More addictive.
That's not good for me.
Oh, this is pretty cool. Look at that. I love it. Album skins. Debuting right here on like the first ever album skin by hitting an ILV summer milestone. Sleeve all 6 uncommon expressions of the summer Louvetars. Transform your entire collection to a tropical oasis. That's pretty cool. That's hard to get. All 6 uncommon expressions. A tier 5 uncommon is going to be nuts. Animated collection thumbnails, cool. Mobile disc opening, cool. Bulk disc opening, very, very cool. Leaderboard positioning. Okay, sure, whatever. Leaderboard points detail, okay. Simple enough. Just buy like with everything else. Damn, I really wanted to just see what alluvials there were. What the fuck?
I think that's coming out tomorrow, based on the
Nah, fuck off. I
Going
feel
Hyper.
betrayed. I feel betrayed. Okay. Going Hyper was today. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Wait.
It was this morning, 4 a.m., 6 a.m.
Yes, I watched it. Yes. Okay,
So
next up.
I believe the buying guide's coming out tomorrow with the Louvetars. I'm assuming.
Okay. So the next up is the I've added a new segment to the pod where I take a look at all the different events that are happening in Illuvium for the upcoming week and stuff like that. Daily Gauntlet Wars time slot, 4 a.m. my time every week. Oh, every day. Every day. Cooker's Cave or every Saturday. The Daydream Tournament, there's every single Monday. So that's at Monday, July 28th for me, but it'll be July 27th for most people. Definitely go and check that out. Great prize pools and things like that. They also have another one every Wednesday at about the same time, just on 2 days after. So that'll be July 29th for most people. The Illuvium Town Hall next weekend. So we'll talk about that more next week on the episode. And Going Hyper is on 2 weeks from now because we had one this morning. So yeah, that's all the events coming up for Illuvium. Next up, we've got some leaks. Roger posted this one. You can see the lighting is completely different than what we're used to in, I want to say, Brightland Steps. You can see the pink tentacle there. And then we've got some other ones, some different region battle boards.
Sharp Bluff.
I think it's kind of funny how he's
Tiger.
like showing off just like one little bit of the battle board to try not give it away or something, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And we've also got some other videos for updates to come to the arena, so let's check these out. You can see with the changing skins, he's got this little animation, things like that. I think it's all good already. I don't think we need that much stuff to be added, but this sort of stuff's really good for mobile in particular. So I don't really have a problem with it. This one also in. Actually, this is already a thing more or less, but I think that slight animation there is a little bit new. Very cool one there as well.
We played this morning, and
I think it's a thing in custom lobbies. Okay, so the other one is the town hall questions for Kieran on the August 1st. Game development and updates for all titles, roadmaps, economy, tokenomics, community engagement, partnership, collaboration, feedback, suggestions. You get the point. There's a lot of different stuff you can ask them about. Let's go through and see if there's any interesting questions. What rewards will there be in the MMO? Will it be possible to earn ILV tokens? That's a really good question there. All owned alluvials. And
is it? Is it a really good question?
Well, I'm hoping there won't just be ILV tokens being distributed to the MMO Lite, so I'd like to get clarity on that.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
Do you want ILV tokens to be rewards in the MMO Lite?
I'd want to see the gameplay loop for the MMO like before I make a comment on that.
I think just have the loot drops and stuff be the big thing in the MMO Lite. Let players trade with each other. That's how MMO economy should be. I wouldn't hate a leaderboard for the boss battle and stuff, but like,
I
really, the
think
boss
look,
gets figured out eventually.
there are multiple like there are multiple ideas. There are multiple ideas, but I just want to see the gameplay loop first. I know it sounds like I'm very much a broken record on this. It's like I just want the gameplay loop. I don't care about out leaks. I don't really give a shit. I want to see the loop. I want to see the player experience like that. As someone from the outside, I want the player experience. I want to know what I'm going to feel. I want to know what I'm going to go through. I want to know like why I'm doing the shit that I'm doing. For example, I played a game of Dota today, and we had someone that was an absolute dog shit person. I knew I wasn't going to win the game, but why was I playing? To bully this kid. I don't fucking know. But like, I want to know what the gameplay loop is. Like, once that's clear, then we can kind of step back and be like, all right, is that for me? In this case, is bullying for me? Absolutely, it is. I'm down for that. But it needs to be clear. Like, what is it that we're trying to feel? And I think that's the biggest thing. Like an art leak of the battle board, cool, nice. Like the art leaks of. It might sound like I'm pessimistic, and I'm not. I'm just saying it. I'm trying to be objective from outside perspective. It's like Brightland Steps, bro. We've seen it. Like, okay, the boss. Cool, we know what it looks like. All of Illuvium from day one has looked fantastic. It hasn't felt that way. And so with this, with the boss, all right, cool, it looks fantastic, but how does it feel? Player perspective, fuck, it sounds so bad. And I'm not trying to say this in a derogatory manner, but like, I get the artist, I get the work that's gone into it. Gamers, general gamers, I promise you, do not give a shit who the artist is in fucking half the game, 90% of the games they play. They probably don't even know who the artist is in any of the games they play. They give a shit if it's fun. They give a shit if it's like the mechanics are right. Like, so I really, 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 and maybe I'm well out of line here. Maybe I'm fucking way off. Tell me if I'm wrong, please. But I think that the community and the outside of the community wants to see the game. They want to see the feeling, the experience. They kind of want to know what that feels like rather than what it looks like. And I think for I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm fucking wrong, right? Maybe I'm overstepping by crazy amounts. But let us know in chat. But yeah.
I think the Dota comment is interesting because the more I think about it, the more I think PvP is actually integral to this story. I'm a little bit concerned that, like, even in MMO, even in World of Warcraft, you play the game to eventually get really good gear, so you go to their PvP arenas and try and rank up or win or whatever it is. Like, I think PvP adds this level of replayability you cannot get otherwise. Once you beat that boss a few times, it's pretty telegraphed. I think you'll be able to beat it very easily, and it just won't be fun anymore. But playing against other players, using those alluvials and weapons you've acquired to beat other players, that's replayable because a player is harder to predict, and you just can't be like the best player in the world. Not really.
Yes. Sorry, I know I went on a long ass monologue, and now I'm cutting you off from yours.
That's fine.
But yes and no. Like, I agree, PvP is interesting, and I know Steven was talking about PvP in the MMO, and I'd love to dive in deeper into what that could look like, X, Y, Z. But it's funny. I'm looking at the chat real quick. I just want to teabag news with my Jotun. Again, people want to bully each other. That's a core gamer fucking principle. We just want a game. people want this shit, right? But in terms of PvP and not PvP, bro, I just started. This is a personal anecdote, and it probably isn't worth much, but I'd still say it. I just started my 5th fucking run through of Fire Emblem Three Houses. That ain't PvP. It's my 5th fucking run through.
Yeah, but Illuvium isn't Fire Emblem Three Houses. It doesn't have that level of content.
But that's the question. Are we focusing on the content or the art? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it doesn't have that content yet, and it won't for a while, I suspect. That's
Yeah.
all.
But again, it went for a while, and that's why we have to kind of, are we focusing on the artwork or the content? Do we get to that point faster? I don't know, right? I'm just kind of putting these questions out there.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, they're working on the
but the
content
point of
now.
me,
They're focused on the content, which is exciting.
right? But and the point of me saying that is, it's not just PvP that's needed for that replayability, because there are many games that you can play single player again and again and again. Like there are many games that do that. Just the content and the gameplay loop need to be locked the fuck in. Again, I apologize. Who was listening? They don't like me swearing. I apologize, but the content and the gameplay loop needs to be locked in. That is the key component. There is a reason that Nintendo, their artwork is their own artwork, but they're not ultra realistic like PS5 or Xbox or PC games. But their people keep Mario Kart. People keep coming back to that shit. It's like the art isn't actually the drawing factor. It just isn't.
They have
People
their own
still go
art
back and play
style.
fucking. People still go back and play fucking Smash Bros. Melee. That ain't the art, bro. It's
You
the
just named
gameplay
two
mechanics.
notoriously PvP games.
Yeah, no, I understand, but what I'm talking about is the mechanics outweigh the art.
Yes.
Is what I'm trying to say. That's the main point of that.
Yeah, PvP doesn't mean anything if it's not fun to play the PvP.
Right. Fuck it. I've gone back and clucked if you don't want a PvP thing. Maybe it's just me. I've gone back and clucked fucking Banjo Kazooie multiple times. Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah, I got the Crash Bandicoot remaster. It was awesome.
Bruh, these are PS1 and 64 games. That ain't PvP. The art ain't that fucking fantastic. It's the gameplay loop. Sorry. Go for it.
No, that's all good. No, I just thinking on it. I think you're right. I think PvP needs mechanics to build on top of anyways, so they got to be right first no matter what. I think that's fair. I still think my battle royale idea would have slapped, but that's just okay. Let's jump into the next one. Aaron, some people had some concerns about some of the bugs and things in the game. Aaron said there are always going to be some issues when you try to build fast. We have the feature set complete now, and the work we're doing goes back into polishing that. Bug fixes, optimizations, more interesting omegas and augments, etc. He can't say it'll be bug-free, but the core experience will improve massively. He's positive the next couple of months will be the biggest improvement in the overall experience of the game, making it more stable, I'm assuming. And again, thanks for the feedback. I think it's more stable than ever. People have this recency bias and they forget just how bad it was like 3 months ago. It was broken to shit in many ways, but it's so much better now. I'm absolutely loving it. Kieran also says that by Thursday, we should know if the patch for Leviathan is good to go. They're tentatively looking at a date of August 2nd for the tournament that he's running. He'll put up a 2.5 thousand USDT in prizes. It's not an officially sanctioned event, won't be a part of the Illuvium League. I hadn't actually come up with a name for it yet, but Illuvium League is good, starting next month, but it will be a really good test of where Leviathan is at. He would honestly love to see at least a few Leviathan events per year to be included in the league. Let's see how good we go. Yeah, I think that would be good. Okay, next is Nil said they discovered bots were not working the last few days and they were stuck. An update this morning fixed that issue and they were now working properly again. On average, you get up to 2 bots per game. Oh yeah, and all the blog goes over all this. There's 6 packs in the disc, and the discs are changing and things like that, and they're much cheaper than previous promos. I forgot that I grabbed all that. I don't know what I was looking at for here.
Yo, bro, it's so funny. I got the live stream on a tab next to us, and you're like making these fucking deep faces and shit. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? But you're not actually. It's delayed. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
That's funny. All right. So the other one is Steven said that it would be super helpful once we're stable enough and stay tuned to getting getting mods, the MMO light builds, and then maybe the community can get something as well. Another segment I'm adding to the show is actually the meeting minutes. We're going to go over the latest meeting minutes we can find every episode on the download because there's been some really good stuff in here. People have been commenting about it. So the first one is the previous pending items. Illuvium Zero skin system revamp is coming. Labs agreed to display the Dark Holo finish of Illuvium in standard arena mode when the player owns the corresponding NFT. So the council brought that up to them, maybe? That's pretty cool. Labs also agreed to introduce a rewards bonus multiplayer based on a player's Illuvium collection completion rate. I know Philo's been asking for that for ages, so I'm glad that Labs agreed to it. The recently deployed patch enabling visibility of other... This is from July 7, by the way, ages ago. Has been reverted. The decision, like people wanted. Community wishlist threads will be created to gather and highlight popular feedback points, which is good. Illuvium's first competitive season is launching in August. Is currently the plan. An announcement will follow with it outlining the vision and structure of the competitive scene, and most importantly, the schedule. So that's all from the meeting minutes that we've got so far. There's probably going to be a bunch more meeting minutes, maybe next week or the week after. Carl, very excited about the future of Illuvium, getting a lot of likes. So clearly the community is getting more bullish and more behind this sort of stuff. There's also a high-octane Gladiator sit and go coming up from Syndicate. 60 ILV prize pool, no registration required. On July 27 for 6 hours, basically you just play like a ton of Illuvium Gauntlet. And then based on how many points and stuff you get, you win prizes. I think this is a really, really good tournament format. I'd love to run a tournament like this myself. In the past, these tournaments were across like 3 days, and I always thought that was like stupid as fuck. I hated it. But this is a really good compromise to that, where it's in one shorter session, so people who want to compete actually have a chance. Like, you don't have to be unemployed to compete in the competition. And yeah, I think it's a really good initiative. I love it. Looking forward to it. Info on rules and stuff down here. I'll throw this link in the chat. Might be helpful to some people. And then, yeah, we've got the MMO. Highly recommend checking out the Town Hall. It was actually really good, especially the first half of it or so. After that, they had the Q&A. There wasn't too much that came out from the Q&A, but the first hour or so was really, really good. Some really good stuff. Roger even went across the lore of Illuvium. So if anyone's interested in that and wants to know about the story and more about it, he goes in a pretty decent detail about all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, Taryn, you had some questions regarding that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff that they talked about was the vertical. We'll kind of talk about this. The vertical slice soon. So I really want to speak to Steven about this when we get him on in terms of like, bro, I don't know if Steven's crypto native, but the whole soon meme is meme enough. Like, what is soon, right? We've been hearing that shit for minutes. I think we were meant to get a video of that shit in July, if I'm not mistaken. Am I making that up?
Yeah, but I might have been saying that out my ass a little bit.
That
was what was told to be internally, and then I think it kept getting delayed.
Right. Okay. Whatever. But regardless, like that soon thing, it's like, what is soon really? Like, are we talking a month, 2 months? Like, I kind of want to double down on that shit. In terms of the next thing, they were like, all right, we're really focusing on, I'll kind of quote this shit, a major push to integrate rich storyline quests and NPCs to connect players to the universe and provide purpose. My take, sorry, there's the pause because I know I'm about to say something that's going against it. My take is that I don't. Sorry, I'm really trying to pick my words right. I got to be very careful right now. How am I going to say this? I would much rather them double down and focus on gameplay loop, gameplay economics, and game design than the story. Is where I stand. Again, when I talk about a game like Dota, no one knows what the But sorry, Scoriox, I'm swearing a lot today. I apologize for that.
So good.
And I hope the chat understands that I'm just passionate about the shit, but it is what it is. I don't care at all what the story is of a game if the gameplay loop is good enough. I'm not saying I don't care at all of Fire Emblem. I mean, that's a very story-driven game. But
such a good game.
It's such a great game.
I really hope the next Fire Emblem is as good as Three Houses. I'm praying.
Engage was not that good. I won't lie. But
I love them all, but Three Houses was a step above.
Three Houses was outstanding. Regardless, going back to this whole like story and quest, the lore, I get it. I believe me, I know the lore. I've been inside of the team. I know this shit, and it's fantastic. Don't get it twisted. It is fantastic, but it's not going to be the thing that drives people into the ecosystem. It's going to be the gameplay loop. It's going to be the gameplay economics. It's going to be the game design. I would much rather that be the main focus, and we can start peppering in. And maybe that is what's happening, right? I'm on the outside. I could be completely wrong. But I would rather that be 90% of the focus and 10% peppering in the story and the lore. That's what I would care about. I don't know anything outside of the Netflix series on Dota that I watched that, honestly, if you ask me today, I don't remember anything about it. But I don't know anything about the Dota lore. But if I check the hours that I played in that game, it's beyond embarrassing. So it's the gameplay loop, not the lore, that is going to bring someone in and in and in. That's where I stand. I could be wrong, and I'm going to be very... I'm going to try and show a lot of humility in this stream today, where I'm going to be very assertive with my opinions, but I could be wrong on all of them. I very much could be, and I want you guys to tell me if you think I'm wrong or you agree with me.
Let me tell you how I'm currently seeing it. Okay, so let me bring you back to Monster Hunter quickly, and then I'll circle it off. So Monster Hunter, you jump into the game, it gives you an easy monster to fight, and it teaches you how to use the weapon. Mm-hmm. Let's call that the tutorial. But then throughout the course of the game, for fighting the different monsters, it's basically you go back to base, they give you a new quest, you go out and find the next monster, you go back to base, they give you a new quest, you go out and find the monster. This is what I believe they're mostly referring to when they talk about quests and lore in the game. When I was speaking to Kieran, it sounded a little bit more like that than anything else, where not necessarily that the lore doesn't matter, but more that what is a player going to do? They're going to jump into the game. Someone's going to go tell them to do something. They're going to get quest marker. Then they're going to go do that thing. Then the gameplay loop kicks in where either it's fun to do that thing or it's not fun to do that thing. But they still need to be given some direction on something to do. Walking around aimlessly in the overworld, we know just didn't work, okay? I think that's why they care so much about this whole quest and lore side of things. It's because they need a path for the player to take. And at the end of that path, they fight a big bad boss and beat this part of the game or whatever it is, right? And I think it's a really big thing that makes Monster Hunter tick for people who play the single player. The campaign's really only 20 hours. But without the campaign, what you just fight monsters over and over, it's not quite the same. And some people really love that. It's not me. I'm with you. I'm not really that big into all that sort of stuff. But for a lot of people, it's really important. And so I think that that's like a really big part of this quests and lore system is more so just like quest markers for people to play the game and not get bored or lost. And they have something that is in front of them for them to do as they're playing the game. And honestly, I think that's really, really important. Okay. So I think that's really cool. And when Kieran was speaking to me about this sort of stuff, I think that's what they have in mind with all this. And I think that's why they find it important. But you're right. The gameplay loop has to be the thing that makes you go, that quest was fun. The gameplay loop is the thing that's going to make you go, that quest was fun. I want to do the next quest. And it's the gameplay loop that's going to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's important as well. But the quest itself is still somewhat important because otherwise you have nothing to do at all.
If you had to give it and I'll throw this question in chat as well. And I haven't thought about the numbers, but I'll throw it to you guys first. If you had to give it a ratio, is it 70% gameplay loop, 30% story? What is it for you? And chat, let us know. How many people are watching right now?
For me personally, it's 0% story.
there are 20 people. If at least 5 or 6 people give us a number, I'm very curious to know if I'm just fucking insane or if
For,
we are kind of aligned.
for me, it's like 5% story, but at the same time, I think there has to be
That's
something to do.
huge, bro.
Personally, I think Pal World was actually one of my favorite setups, where it's just like, okay, because like Pokemon had like really hand holding. It's annoying as shit. I hate it.
Yeah.
But Pal World did the exact opposite, and I loved it. It was just like, okay, you can like make a campfire. Good luck, and then you capture some pals and you go and you fight like your first gym battle, right? And you're like, okay, this is way too strong for me. I need to get stronger things. It doesn't be like, oh, go and do this, go and do that. This is where you
And
have to go next. It was
it's the
just
whole
like, this thing is blocking your path, get stronger, beat it. And I think that's how Dark Souls does it as well. I love that style personally, but I know a lot of people love the lore and story side of things. Everyone I speak to about this sort of stuff absolutely loves it.
yeah, and bro, like, okay, the fifth. I'm just gonna say gameplay and loop is one thing. That's 80% gameplay loop, 20% story. Let's actually look at this shit, right? Like gameplay loop is 90, story is sorry, this shit. Story is the cherry on top. That means 10%. Uh,
I don't
someone else
honestly
says,
I'd honestly argue we already have the lore. The Illuvials and their designs and stuff are lore, and they're really good. So
bro, it's the gameplay loop. That's what I'm telling. Like, it is the gameplay loop. There are so many games, bro. I don't know if you've ever played a game like Brotato, dude.
I haven't, but I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, bro. I've clocked countless hours on that shit. You ask me the story of it, it's a fucking potato with guns. That is the story. I care more about the gameplay loop than the story. I don't give a shit. There is no story. It's gameplay loop.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna say that I've been arguing with Pokemon fans the other day because I went into like people were saying, because did you see the Pokemon Direct?
Yeah, Pokemon Star, yeah.
People were like, we got 3 huge things. We got Mega Dragonite. I can't remember what the second one was, or Pokemon Champions,
Shit.
and we got customization. I'm like, customization? Who gives a fuck? And everyone in these comments is like, customization is back. We're so excited. Everyone freaking loves it. And I'm like, what?
They're
Whatever.
retail.
Maybe that's just the Pokemon audience. My point
They're
is that
retards.
we're not the same as everyone else. There actually are a lot of people out there that like some stuff we can't even comprehend. I'm just gonna put it that way.
I mean, the whole customization thing, bro, we had customization in fucking Pokemon Sword and Shield. What extra customize? Like, who gives a shit?
I don't know.
Who gives a shit?
They really care about it.
I don't think they do. I think they're coping. Like, genuinely, I don't think they wake up and they like think. No, actually, let's think about it objectively, right? They're not like, I'm gonna buy this game because I can customize my character. They're not making that decision in terms of a marketing perspective. They're not doing that shit. And if they do buy the game, how many times are they gonna customize their character?
Apparently, they're really into it. I just
One
think it's
time-
another thing you can collect in the game. You collect all the different tops or whatever. I don't know.
They're fucking lying, bro. They're fucking lying, bro. You
I don't
customize
think
your
they're
character
lying.
twice. Look, I'll be fucking generous.
I don't even do it
customize
once.
your character 5 times at most. You ain't buying the game to customize the character. That's you're coping. I get it. Those people with Pokemon, bro. I'm gonna buy a Switch October 16th for Pokemon. That's what I'm gonna do. But I'm not gonna cope. I'm buying it for customization. No, I'm not. That's fucking stupid. I'm buying because I want to see what Pokemon is doing. These people have an attachment to Pokemon and they're trying to justify this shit. It's stupid. Anyone with a fucking brain knows it's stupid. That's not why they're buying the game, because of customization. That's not why they're buying Pokemon. Fucking buy Sims for that shit. Customize your shit. Or whatever the new fucking... sorry, I'm custom too much. The new sim-like game is IO Life or some shit. Something. I apologize. Like, go
The Chinese
customize...
thing.
What's that? I don't know, but customize your character that way. You want customization that mad? That's what drives you? Play that game. Don't play Pokemon. What are you talking about?
What else you got from the town hall you want to chat about?
Yeah, I apologize. Player in hand soon. They're talking about how we want to get into players. Again, the whole soon thing got to me. What is soon? And what are they going to be playing? I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, September if we're lucky, if I had to guess, but I have no idea.
Yeah. The dynamic combat. This is something that I actually wanted to get your opinion on because I know you're. What would you say? I mean, we started gaming a little bit. Would you say you're as much an avid gamer as I? Do you think more than I? What would you say? How would we compare with each other?
About the same. We're both just too busy to game, but we'd probably game a lot if we weren't.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So in terms of the combat style, and this is no criticism on what they're doing or anything like that. It's just what kind of game combat style would you like to see? Because I think we're the only public podcast conversation around Illuvium consistently. So I
So
kind of wanted to have this and the chat jump into this as well and try and get a little bit of a thing.
they said they were topping up between ARPG and like a Dark Souls, and I can't remember what the example they used for the ARPG. It might have been like Genshin Impact or something. I can't remember. I don't actually think they should do a Dark Souls style game. I mean, Dark Souls is a Guitar Hero with cool visuals, really, but no, I think anything heavy action, heavy octane, just running around, hitting things, dodging as much as you can, and stuff like that. I think that's fine. I don't think it has to be too crazy. The best example I can probably think of it is The Witcher 3 did this really, really well.
Mhm.
If we can kind of leverage that sort of thing, like The Witcher 3 is like pretty easy when you really think about it, but it's
Shadows
still
of
fun.
War,
It's
Shadows
still
of
it's still
Water, I
really
think did
fun.
well.
It's still really, really fun. And I think it just the game needs to be fun. It needs to be fun in a group of people, and it's not quite. Dark Souls isn't really that fun with other players.
Mhm.
It's good, but it's not that fun with other players. You're more high impact, high speed action gameplay, much more fun with other players. Destiny, I think, did that quite well in particular. So yeah, I think anything fast paced and things like that is what you want to go for. Like their Breach gameplay, for example, looked really, really fun. That was really fast, really quick. I think they're leveraging those sorts of mechanics they've already got for this. I think that's the right decision. I think it looked good.
Yeah,
It didn't look
yeah,
very in depth, which was my only concern. We need a lot more depth, especially with the alluvials. Like, I'd like to see like it's one of the abilities you cast. You just like Ramfire go in Omega over there, but you've got to plan it out a little bit because the Ramfire is gonna have to walk or fly over there and then cast and stuff like that. So you got to time it pretty well yourself. I think that
yeah,
could be a really cool element to it, as long as they leverage the alluvials and those mechanics really well, and then tie them with fast-paced gameplay. I still think the game's going to be pretty easy, but you can tune that up pretty easily. You can just be like, okay, we put in 5 atlases against you, and that was easy as shit. We're going to throw in
I
5 more atlases, and we're going to balance it that way, and eventually the game's going to
yeah,
be fun. I think that's what I'm looking forward, because like Path of Exile 2's, I know you've never played it, but it's really, really fun. It's high, it's fast, it's quick, and there's like thousands of enemies coming at you at any given time. Sometimes, and a boss has like a lot of different moves and things like that. I think Illuvium needs that, but really the boss is summoning things, and that every boss has a slightly different mechanic. One of them was like every now and then it'll summon like a giant snowstorm onto the battlefield. Basically, if you're standing on the battlefield, you just die. So what happens is some ally you have for that specific quest will run into a certain spot and shield the spell storm, so you get to that really specific spot and not die. Monster Hunter has that with Zoshashir as well, where it does like a giant nuke, and you've got to like grapple down a rock from the ceiling and then hide behind the rock in a really specific spot, or you die to the nuke. And I think like the more interesting gameplay mechanics that can beat you that they add is really good, because it adds some difficulty. Outside of
yeah.
that, these games are just too easy. So I think as long as the game has some level of difficulty curve, I'll be happy with it. But it does need to be fun and fast.
Yeah, I think the difficulty actually comes not from the combat system, but from the enemies. And maybe you count that as a combat system, maybe. From a game design perspective, I don't know. But I think it's from the enemies, whether you have enemies that have like the ability to one hit kill you.
Mm.
Like, so the combat system is not difficult, but if you fuck up on a simple system, you get killed on like the utmost difficult thing. But I think you scale the difficulty on the enemies, not the actual system itself, in terms of how punishing the system is. It's more how punishing the enemies are, if that makes
Mm.
sense. And maybe that doesn't make sense. I'm kind of talking out of
The,
my
the fun the fun for me
ass here.
always comes from when you face multiple different kinds of enemies. Like in Path
Mhm.
of Exile 2, a lot of the areas will have kind of samey area enemies, but sometimes you'll have an area where like you've got a bunch of like flower pods around the place, and then all the enemies will start swarming in, the flower pods will jump up. and you're trying to decide, do I get rid of all the chaff, all the small enemies next to me first, or do I try and get these like snipers that are going to cause me serious havoc if I don't eliminate them early? And so a mix of enemies and with really different attacking types and stuff, that's where I personally enjoy myself the most. So that's what
Yeah,
I'd be looking for.
exactly. And that's why I say I think difficulty through enemies, not systems, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh, the next thing that I want to talk about that we brought up was the new threats. We don't need to spend too much time on this, but the new, not alluvials, I'm not going to call them alluvials, the new combatants, I'll say that.
Yeah.
The new entities.
They've really only shown us like 5 of them, as far as I'm aware. That makes me a little bit nervous. I hope they have a lot more in the back in the pipeline. But I know they've got like rangers that are going to be enemies and stuff. I think that's a good use of time for sure, because you can all the ranger weapons you currently have, you can throw them on an enemy ranger and just have them become an enemy. And they've got like a ton of different enemies you can just add to the game easily. And then you have those creatures as well. But I hope they add more of them. I hope they have at least 10, 15 unique ones, and maybe they don't all come at once or whatever. But yeah.
That's asking. I think that's asking a lot. I mean, I would like that, but I think that's asking a lot.
But they've got a lot of alluvials, so as long as they weave them in there, I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Look, there's a couple of other things that there is, like, there's social systems. Look, again, I don't really give a shit about guilds and chat and parties. The gameplay.
On that note, though, I think the gameplay will be a lot more fun with a bunch of players around you. I mean, PUBG always was, for example. A lot when they added squads, it blew up in popularity. So I think if they make the game, tailor the gameplay around playing with a party of 4, and it makes you join with random stuff sometimes, I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that's important to consider when it comes to the gameplay elements, because it might be too easy with 4 if they don't design it right. So that's important to me as well.
Yeah, look again. That's part of the gameplay loop. Whether that's the direction they go or not, I don't really care. I just want them to have really, really solid direction in the gameplay loop. And the final, like, I mean, there's a bunch of other things. I'm just going to skip them all. But the final thing was just the loot. Like we kind of talked about it with Borderlands. Like, keep the loop there that we want to grind. Like, it's funny, when we playing Borderlands, I played without you to go grind the gun that I wanted. Like, I grinded it for multiple hours to try and get the gun that I wanted. So I think we need some of that. And I've been trying to get the X2 multiple that shoots twice. I haven't got it. But it's kept me going back again and again and again. So I think that's super, super important. I think that's a huge, huge mechanic that I really, really want to dive into with Steven when we bring him on, and into what his vision is of that, and how that affects the economy and the gameplay loop for the players and whatnot.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm hoping we get some playtests soon. Well, my biggest concern is because I know they have internal playable builds, and for whatever reason they don't want to share them with the community. My biggest gripe is going to be if they all of a sudden bring out a bunch of stuff for people to play and the vertical slice and stuff like that, and the gameplay is just not that fun. And the first thing people are going to say, and I'm going to be one of those people too, is, why don't you let us test it first and tell you it was good or bad? But no, you were so confident, just like the first time. And if that happens, I'm going to be quite frank with you, Illuvium's dead. It's gone. It's game over.
I ain't going to say that. That's all you, bro.
You can't do that twice. That was people's main gripe. You didn't let us test it first and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. I hope it is good. Maybe we don't need to test it. I mean, Breach looked fun, sure. But if they don't let people test this stuff long before the vertical slice, people are gonna have so much ammunition to get mad. It's gonna be hard to control that, and it just is what it is.
I'm actually gonna disagree with you here, and it's interesting because I'm usually quite critical, and I'm trying to give an objective point of view. A lot of people were critical on Gauntlet when it first started. It wasn't that Gauntlet was the problem. It just needed to be further developed. And when we played it now, it's actually a pretty good game. Like, it is a good game. I think we could see the same thing with this MMO, like where
Yeah, I think it's quite possible.
if it comes out, everyone like yourself is like, oh man, this ain't what I want. This ain't the shit. Like, yo, well, why did you guys do this shit? It's not that it was the wrong thing. Maybe it was just part of what needed to be done, and they came out too early. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but knowing them, it's going to take ages for them to fix all of the feedback people are going to give them. And so they should be incorporating this because once you build a game, right, you build all these systems. You know how much harder it is to change those systems later? It becomes a lot harder than if you incorporated the community right at the start, right when you were developing these systems, giving them the prototypes even to test and play and give feedback on. So much harder to fix it later. And so I think it's just a backwards way to develop it, if you ask me. I'd be giving everyone every prototype personally.
And what I think is that they should actually have some of the game design documents out to the public and be like, hey, this is the kind of direction that we're going on. Thoughts and ideas. Not saying we're going to follow you, but let's have that conversation so we can see and identify any potential issues that might occur. That's how I would approach it. But fuck it, I'm not running a studio. What do I know? I'm just
it's hard.
I'm just an idiot guest on a podcast sharing my opinions.
There's a lot of difficulties with sharing this sort of stuff, and it's hard. But like you were in the team, how did you play the internal builds? What did you have to do to actually download that build, for example?
Just download it and play it.
It was just a specific Epic Games key, right?
Yeah, it was like an internal. Yeah, it was just download and play it.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Bro, how hard would that be? I know that Epic Games limits keys for certain things and stuff like that, but that's what annoys me. It's like they're concerned with like the gameplay getting out on socials and stuff like that. Is that really worse? Is that worse than having a bad game when you release it, or having a bad gameplay loop, or something being really fundamentally wrong? Is that more risky? I don't think so.
It's funny because we the whole title of this video was marketing, right? That's a part of marketing. Let the early alpha gameplay loop get out there. It is what it is.
Personally, I'm not a fan of this no man's land, right? You either build in public or you don't. Illuvium committed to building in public a long time ago. You can't put that jack back in the box. Is that the saying? What's the saying? You can't unopen that can of worms, okay? It's been opened. You made your decision, and now people want to test this shit and just let them test it. Like, if you wanted to build in secret in the shadows, then you should have done that, but you didn't. That's how I personally view it. Maybe I'm more salty about this since I'm not on the council anymore, but at the same time, Kieran was being like, oh yeah, we'll get the council internal build over and over and over again. And I know just things come up and stuff like that. I don't hold it against anyone. I don't really care all that much, to be quite frank. But like, even the community is like, yeah, the council and mods should be playing this internal build, and they're not. And that's weird. Get as many people. I've been a designer. I've studied design school. I know it's not game design, but I've been a designer for a long ass time. The feedback part of that design process is the most important one. And the devs don't count. I've been a dev in lots of different sorts of things. My perspective is useless. It's useless. I promise you.
I'll say this real quick, building on what you're saying. External feedback is super important because when you're in it, bro, you attached. You attached to it. It's like your baby. You ain't gonna say your baby did this wrong or did that wrong. Like you ain't finished, but you bring your child to a restaurant. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry's gonna be like, "Yo, this kid's acting like a." They're acting out. I'm not trying to say any bad words. They're acting up. You need the external reflection and feedback on the product, not the internal reflection of like, we're all playing it internally. We think this. Like, yeah, cool, that's good. And I'm glad you guys are doing that. But we need someone external that isn't attached. And what's crazy is we can't actually get an objective point of view because everyone's like, most people in the community are invested in Illuvium, XYZ, but we need someone at least as detached as possible that we can get into it and not someone that's building it. I ain't finna say shit about my kid. I mean, my kid's the greatest thing in the world. But I'm sure if you saw my kid, your kid looks this, your kid's doing that. Like you'd be more than happy to criticize. And we
But
need
like,
to kind of get that honest opinion.
there are some funny pros and cons to it too, because with internal feedback, you can have a bunch of people say like, do this and do that. And you can hide some of that because you know it's not all going to get done. But when you have this public forum of like 100 different things you need to fix, and the team's like, well, we really only got time to fix 10. And so then the community feels like the 90 other things weren't addressed or weren't heard, but the team can only do so much. And so there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages to this sort of thing, but it's still better to have all of that feedback and then go from there than to not have it at all and even piss off some people if you have to. But that's just every time I've done any sort of design project or anything, the earlier I get feedback, the better my outcome is every single time. And that's just me talking from my own personal experience. But I know not everything's black and white, obviously, but that's just been my experience.
Of course. By the way, sup, Scoriox. Yo, what's good, Gavin B? No, what's up? Do your thing. I realized I went full into the whole chat, like the whole stream of things. Like, yo, chat, sup, Scott. Yeah, I know.
We do appreciate you guys being with us, chat. So many of you joined along the way. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Do you have anything else, or do you want to just wrap this one up here?
I mean, look, we don't need to go into the marketing thing.
We covered some of it. But I mean, like, the big thing to know is that the competitive scene is starting very soon. I'm very excited for it. I don't know what I am and aren't allowed to say. All I will say is that there will be several events every month. They will grant you some sort of qualification for a larger event. And I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Get practicing. And with that, the download is complete.